did this, you'd hear me speak on, yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ronnie Orson, and I'm doing a silly walk because I heard on the radio this morning that it burns more calories than jogging, and I don't jog. Okay, so so please feel welcome and stand as we join us in our opening song, "I Do What Gives Me Life."
I do what gives me life. Hey, hey, I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, hey, in these moments I am given, in situations called I now choose this path of living. I now choose what sets me free. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, in these moments I am given, these moments I am given, in situations called to me. I now choose this path of living. I now choose what sets me free. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, these moments I am given, in situations called to me. I now choose this path of living. I now choose what sets me free. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, these moments I'm given, in situations called to me. I now choose this path of living. I now choose what sets me free. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life.
Isn't that a fun song? And perfect for Silly Walk Day, Ronnie. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of New Westminster on this gray but calm day. I don't know why I always have to give a weather report at the beginning of service. Welcome. I am really glad to see you here today. I am Reverend Rona Sagara, and it is my honor and privilege to be the minister at Unity of New Westminster, this community of love and support and caring and consideration and love. And Silly Walks, a ministry of Silly Walks as well. If you are joining us for the very first time, I welcome you. And if you are here as a returning member, welcome to all of you as well. And to you who are joining us and watching on YouTube, hello everyone. Everyone do your equivalent of a silly walk. There you go. We would love to stay connected with you. So please, if you are in person, please write your information onto the information card in the little blue envelope that you received. And if you are watching us online, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and also joining us on the membership link, which is on our website. At Unity of New Westminster and the Unity movement in general, we offer empowering ideas for full and abundant living. We draw primarily on the teachings of Jesus, who we consider our way shower and example. And we honor that there is wisdom in faith traditions all over the planet, that there is wisdom in song, in story, in book, in our everyday life experiences. And so we draw and we learn and we consider ideas from all of these places to empower ourselves to live full and abundant lives. All are welcome here. All are worthy here. All are celebrated here. Let us begin our service in a time of centering prayer. As we close our eyes, if it is comfortable for us, we begin by acknowledging with gratitude that we are here on the traditional and ancestral territory of the Kakite First Nation. And we give thanks. We give thanks for First Nation peoples everywhere and their custody of this beautiful land. We take a moment in prayer to remember our oneness. That there is only one power. That power which is understood by many names. That power which is celebrated in many ways. And we acknowledge that whether we call that power God or Allah or Yahweh or Spirit or life or quantum or Creator or any one of thousands of names, that there is only one creative energy, that there is no spot that God is not. And so we take that thought a step further and realize that God is in us as us, that we express God. And so does every other person. And we are connected. We are one. And in that knowledge, we send a blessing of love, a blessing for peace and contentment and upliftment to every being on this planet, in a spirit of acceptance that goes beyond labels, We celebrate our oneness. We celebrate our power to uplift. And for our oneness and our power, we are so grateful. Amen. He's lost the microphone. Oh, it could be. That was literally a mic drop.
I have it now. I have the power. Today's daily word is world peace. I rest my heart in the peace of God. Around the world, so many souls are joining me in my prayer for peace. While the news may give more attention to points of conflict, there is a striving and yearning in the human heart for peace. My prayer supports that desire and strengthens the bonds of love that lead to greater harmony. I begin my affirmation of world peace with a soft and open heart. I am comforted as I realize the advances the world's people have made over the generations to live together harmoniously. I make an effort to live a more peaceful life and bridge the gaps of understanding between myself and those around me. I focus my attention upon our shared desire, a peaceful world of cooperation and goodwill. This is my heartfelt prayer. Amen. And from Isaiah 26, verse 3, those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you.
So as we prepare ourselves to hear today's message, I invite you to close your eyes with me if it's comfortable for you, if it's safe for you. And if you prefer, allow your eyes to remain open and softly rest on something in front of you. And then become aware of your breath. You can take a deep breath if you wish, or perhaps you prefer just to breathe normally. Focus on the feeling of breath as it enters your body, enters your throat, enters your lungs, and brings life to your organs, your cells, your extremities. Feel the calm of that breath. And become aware of the out-breath as well. As it exhales from your body, it is warm. And it releases toxins, things that your body no longer needs. And as you rest in that in and out flow, allow your body to relax. Feel how heavy it can be on this seat. And allow it to be completely supported. I give myself this gift of a peaceful pause. I sink beneath the thoughts that are always operating in my mind. And I move away from them. Knowing I can return to them later. Instead, I feel my heart. And I bring to my heart's feeling an image of something that uplifts me. Perhaps it is seeing a friend or a family member. Perhaps it's the connection with a beloved pet. Perhaps it's a child or a grandchild. Perhaps it's a scene. A sunrise or a sunset or the ocean, mountains, snow. Feel the love and appreciation of that picture. And feel the peace of it. And in a time of silence, I invite you to take that picture and place it somewhere in your body. Perhaps it's your heart. Perhaps it's lower at the top of your abdomen. Maybe it's your throat. Take that image and store it in a place where you can reach it easily. And know that at any time that you need to restore yourself, you can go there that image can be an anchor. A place of peace. A place of rest. A place of love. So in silence, find that place in your body and hold that image there, where it will always be, waiting for your return.
I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I love myself like a newborn baby child. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I love myself like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels the slowest part of me feels safe to go. Now I know I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I rock myself like a newborn baby child. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I love myself like a newborn baby child.
That song always touches me. Sometime over the past several years, and definitely since the COVID pandemic began, Walt and I got into the habit of what we've now come to call assuming the position. And that is, I know, not what you're thinking. After dinner, or sometimes even during dinner, we sit on the couch like Ma and Pa Kettle, and we watch the news, and then we watch at least one episode of whatever series we're following. And the thing is that somewhere along the line, we started to follow more than one series. So then it didn't just become an hour or 2 hours, it became closer to 3 every night. So if we assumed a position at like 9 o'clock at night, it would be midnight before we were finished watching. And even then we'd have this debate, oh, should we do one more, should we not? And I know that I see nods, so we're all in that, and that automatic next start that Netflix has, commercial for Netflix, but I think they all do actually, it's like a little hook that gets you, and it works. Now, full disclosure, some of you might know about me that I find it very stressful to handle stressful scenes. So if there is violence, or even if there's too much tension, then I need to go and do something else, and there's only so long that you can bury your head in somebody else's shoulder. And so I normally have my laptop in front of me at the same time. Kel romantic, I know. And so I'm half watching and half doing something. So I don't know why that should matter, but anyway, just so you know. It's really my security blanket. It's my way of hiding if something is too stressful on the television set. But what the point is, I would get to bed after midnight. And then I often have calls at 8 o'clock in the morning. And so getting up was always a chore. And I thought, this is silliness. I need to do something different. So what do? I'm going to go to bed at 11 so I can be asleep by 11:30 and wake up refreshed And it was a perfectly excellent idea, and it perfectly excellently worked, and I did it for perfectly excellently about 3 days. And I'm guessing I'm not alone in that. That even though things work, and even though we feel better, there are times when we have a hard time integrating a new change into something that's sort of familiar. And what made me think of it now is that many of us, as the new year begins, have set intentions for ourselves. And often with these intentions, it's like, oh, it's January 25th, I'm done. That's the same feeling. So I started thinking about this and thinking about 30 words, fewer than 30 words that Jesus said that explain this phenomenon. And the more I started to think about it and write about it, the more instances of this I find myself noticing. And it comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 9, verse 16. And it's about sewing a new patch onto an old cloak. And Jesus says, quote, "No one sews a piece of unshrunk new cloth on an old cloak, for the patch pulls away from the cloak, and a worse tear is made. No one puts something new that is not mature onto something that is already existing, because eventually that patch will shrink and a worse tear is made." So picture for a moment this cloak. A cloak that we wear all the time, to the point where really maybe there are parts that are torn and weathered, and the elbows are rubbed raw, and what used to give us comfort maybe isn't giving us comfort in the same way anymore. And then imagine that we add something, a new patch to this coat, and we sew it really carefully, and we think, oh, this is great. It fills the hole, my coat is complete, and then over time, that coat remains the way it was because it was weathered already, but the patch starts to shrink as it gets wet and as it gets worn. And those threads that held that patch pull. And they pull on the old as well. And so now we have this tear that is even greater than we had before. Now, imagine that cloak is our life, our everyday existence, our habits, the things we know. Sometimes it's not our habits, it's how we behave. And we, wanting to heal and patch and maybe brighten our lives, will sometimes add a patch. A new habit. We're going to do a new habit. I am going to get up early. I'm going to go to bed early. New habit. But if we don't shrink that patch in advance, then what happens? Not only does the patch end up not working for us, but now we end up being kind of hard on ourselves because we aimed for something and it didn't happen. And in doing so, we pull on our thread of fabric, our existing framework, even more. So this story of the cloak and the patch plays out all over in our world and in our lives. It is a metaphor for change. The cloak representing our known and familiar, and the patch representing the new. And how if we adopt the new too quickly, before allowing it to season and weather and fade and shrink, how it can actually do more harm than good. Now what's interesting is that in Jesus' lesson, which is essentially that we should expect tension, he says, no one sews a patch, as if it's completely self-evident that no one would do such a silly thing as to put a new patch on an old cloak. But we do it all the time. Those new patches can be new habits that we want to form, or new ways that we want to be, or sometimes they're physical and it's a new person that we want to bring into our life, or it's a new job, or a new house, or a new car, or any one of hundreds of news. But if we bring that into our life without considering how new it is, without allowing for that tension, then chances are there is going to be an unraveling. Sometimes we act as if we're the one wearing the cloak. Sometimes we're the patch on someone else's cloak. Sometimes we're both for ourselves. We want to do something for ourselves. We want to change an idea for ourselves. But always we are the tailor. Always we are the tailor. And the message is stretch what we know and mature the new by bringing it in slowly. Expect tension. Handle with care. As the cloak, let me give you an example with this habit that I spoke about of being late, going to bed late. The cloak, of course, is that comfortable but not necessarily fully functional way of being. Very comfortable just to stay on the couch. Very comfortable to watch the next episode of whatever it is, Better Call Saul. But it's not always the most fully functional thing to do. So in places, we have this cloak, and it's got places that are a little worn, but it's comfortable. The new is this new goal, this new aspiration to go to bed early, to go to the gym every day, to eat more healthily, whatever the habit is. The problem was, or the learning was, that we didn't allow, and we often don't allow, for the tension between the old and the new. I did not allow the tension between my existing comfort and this new idea of going to bed at 11. I didn't allow that idea to grow and mature. I just was like, okay, that's what we're going to do, starting now. And of course, after 3 days when it didn't work, now not only was I tired again, but I was also a little down on myself for not holding up with that aspiration. A worse tear is made. And so what can we do? What could I do differently? Well, this coat-patch relationship is twofold. There's the cloak and the patch. And I think both of them can work together to create a seamless garment, seamless fabric. In both cases, we want to expect tension. For the coat, for the part that we're comfortable with, we want to stretch. We want to stretch and smooth. Because we know that there will be tension. And we know that there are going to be things that are going to prevent us from moving towards the new. For example, our time is already filled. So to add something new and to get up to go to the gym, for example, is a stretch. To get up off the couch and set a limit on the fun that I'm having at the moment is a stretch. It will take intention and attention when you're on the part of the familiar, on the cloak side. It also helps to stretch by letting other people know what your attention and intention is aiming to be, so that you can ask them for their support. And that can be a stretch. Expect tension from within yourself as you make space for something new. And then think of the patch. The goal here is to expect tension, and that means pre-shrinking the patch. And what it kept coming to me was aim to sustain. Don't make it something too big. I mean, all of us do that, you know, especially at the beginning of the year. It's like, I'm going to do this every single day from da-da-da, da-da-da-da, and it's going to be great. And then the first time something happens because our cloak didn't stretch, we end up turning away and abandoning the whole thing. So pre-shrinking means doing a little bit, getting used to a little bit, getting that new patch, the new, comfortable and soft and mature and flexible. And then expanding it a bit more and expanding it a bit more. And I'm reminded of the Italian philosopher Voltaire, who is attributed with saying, "Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good." And part of pre-shrinking, part of weathering, part of maturing is acknowledging that we'll go so far, and then there will be times when we fail. And we'll go a little way again, and then we fail. And each time that we do that, we're stretching, we're pre-shrinking, we're maturing. Don't wait for circumstances to be perfect. Don't expect perfection from yourself. That is an immature response, an immature expectation. And then what happens is, when we fail, inevitably we will fail at times, then we berate ourselves and do more harm. So think of it in terms of habits. with habits stretch when you're stretch from your comfort, from your cozy cloak. And whatever the new habit is, whatever the new behavior is that you want to incorporate, move in the direction of that, a little bit at a time, so that you don't end up being so hard on yourself if it doesn't work out because it was an immature idea. And I told you that there are many, many, many applications for this. And I just want to share one other with you that it comes to mind because of somebody talking about Fiddler on the Roof earlier today. And that is the same thing. Remember I said it plays out everywhere in our life? The same thing is true for traditions and new ideas. You have these old beliefs, tradition, the things that give us safety and comfort. And then once in a while, there are places where those traditions no longer fit. They don't resonate in the same way. The belief system may be different. And so you have this new idea over here that wants to remain in connection with the cloak, and the cloak is resistant. Tradition is, let me see if I can find what Tevier says. He is the father character in Fiddler on the Roof. Tradition, tradition. Without our traditions, our lives would be as shaky as a fiddler on the roof. So think of traditions as that coat. And the whole story is about acknowledging tradition and the value of it without throwing all of them out, and welcoming and maintaining the idea of a new idea. Expect tension. Expect tension. Then you'll be less surprised when it happens, and it will happen in any change that you make. In any change you make, there'll be a tension between the familiar and the new. And if you want to integrate them successfully, then the old, stretch. The new, mature. So that it's not patching something in a way that is going to be impermanent. So I invite you, as you leave here today, and I will talk about this subject on and on and on, because I think it's so important to understand that the more we can expect tension, Jesus really makes it like, oh, of course we don't, but oh my gosh, we do. We always try to insert new without care and consideration for old. Think of religion, how we've at times we've just turned away entirely from the old. And yet there's some lovely aspects, including the teachings of Jesus, that we don't need to throw it all away. Anyway, we'll get into that another day. Where I want to go with this is take a look. Anytime you see tension in your life, in your workplace, in your family, and look at it with the lens of, is this old and new fighting for place, jockeying for position? And what would happen if if I'm on the familiar side, the old tradition, what would happen if I was willing to stretch just a little bit? How would that ease the relationship and the fabric? And if I'm the new, I can expect that there will be tension. And how can I appear mature in small doses, not trying to override that cloak of the traditional, but instead work and integrate and interlock to create a new and beautiful, functional, interesting, productive coat. Watch. You'll see it everywhere once you start thinking about it. And one last thought about it. And that is that even these ideas, these intentions for I'm going to do things differently from now on, that is a new patch. Don't expect that even though you know that's what you want to do every time from now on, don't expect that's going to be true. Because your old habits are here and they're bigger. And so instead, move in the direction of doing a little bit better, a little bit more often, being more peaceful a little more times, a little more loving, a little more patient. And as you do so, that idea will mature and it will naturally knit into your fabric. Build your skills as the tailor of your life. In any change, think of this cloak and the patch. Expect tension. Expect tension. Where two or more are gathered, there will be bristling. Expect tension. That's Martha Creek. Expect tension. Stretch. Pre-shrink. Mature. And above all, handle with care. I bless you.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
Hi, I'm Ronnie, and I'm back to tell you what's happening here at Unity. Please join us on Zoom every Monday for our weekly prayer meeting. We check in with each other, we enjoy a guided meditation, and we read the names of the people on our prayer list. If you would like your name added to the prayer list, or you want to add someone else's name, please, to the list, please fill in a prayer request slip and place it in the offering basket, or send an email or submit a prayer request on our website. We leave the names on our list for 2 months, then we forward the names to Silent Unity, which is Unity's 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week prayer vigil and prayer phone line located at Unity Village near Kansas City in good old Missouri. It is the membership renewal time now, so all members must renew membership by January the 31st every year. Tedious. You can renew online by clicking on the link in the news section or the about section of our website. You can also renew with a paper membership form. That's my way of going. For those who may be interested, our bylaws are also on the website in the about section. Okay, next. January the 29th is the last Sunday of the month, and we celebrate the birthdays in the month on the last Sunday of each month. We also have amazing potluck lunches, so please mark your calendars for January 29th and plan to join us for food and birthday cake. Then afterwards, please plan to stay for Cindy's Creative Cafe and karaoke, which will begin after lunch. I'm not sure if I should read all this stuff, eh? I've already said that, haven't I? Oh, well, okay, it's a chance for you to paint, draw, sing, tell a story, or express yourself artistically in some other way. Admission is by donation. If you want to paint, the cost is $10. Pay for the material. Here's your chance to connect with friends, share your talents, learn more, and become another Leonardo da Vinci. We are grateful for our gifts which support our ministry. Many of our community contribute with pre-authorized payments. So if you're not adding anything to the basket, please bless it silently as it passes you. As we sing our blessing song, please bring to mind something you're grateful for. We are so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And we are indeed so blessed. So blessed. I thank you all for joining me this morning. I thank the audio-visual team for their work today, bringing us, thank you for joining us on YouTube, bringing us YouTube and sound. I thank our ushers, Greta and Sharon, for being here today and helping to welcome everyone, and Barb for helping as well with getting everything ready this morning and putting up tables in the fellowship hall, so thank you. And Ronnie, thank you for being our platform person. We are so blessed in so many ways. And one of the things I do want to leave you with is, if you hear the word God, like God will show me how in that song, and you're like, oh, that doesn't feel right to you, then think of whatever the God of your understanding might be. Or think of that positive thing that you've tucked away somewhere in your body. And let that be your inspiration. Let that be God for you. Sometimes that helps, just to reframe that definition into something of what is the most loving thing that will show me how. Now let's move into a circle and hold hands or hold elbows or whatever is comfortable for you as we sing our peace song and our prayer for protection. Can we make a circle today? We're going to be just fine.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator, family all we. Let us walk with
the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. We are the light of God. We are the love of God. We are the power of God. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well.
Of food. We have a family gathering here yesterday, and there is lots and lots of food, enough for everyone to have a decent, lovely lunch. So please join us.